Well, hey everybody, Jonathan Doyle with you once again. Welcome aboard, regular viewers, new viewers, welcome everybody. My humble goal is to give you something useful every day, just to give you some insight, energy, some direction, to move you forward in the great game of life. I think that the mystery of why we are here is a mystery, but I know that on this journey together, helping each other grow, developing ourselves and helping develop each other creates a much better world. You know, our culture at the moment is so fixated on technocratic and governmental control. I know I go on about this, but I'm like, it's taking power away from the individual. It's centralizing power, surveillance, control everywhere we look. The real power in humanity is in the growth of the individual, the empowerment of the individual, and then the individual coming together with other empowered individuals to create much better states of being, more compassionate, more energized cultures, you know. Don't know why I'm talking about that. It just came straight out. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please make sure you have subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so that I can interrupt your quietness, your solitude. Please, it would be helpful. And then check out the description notes here under the video because you can get free access to my book and you can book me to speak. And if you want the podcast versions, I always go deeper on the podcast version, so go check that out if you want to. Let's rip in. Today I wanted to talk about what I call relentless outward focus and service of others. The last few episodes in different forms, I've talked about duty, I've talked about hardship, I've talked about action. And in all of these recent videos, I have talked about the atomized nature of modern culture, right? That we are broken down into individual units because that is how we are controlled and that is how we are marketed to. You control the individual, you control their movement, their freedom, their options, and then you market to them as an individual atomized unit. The problem with that is that in terms of evolutionary psychology, we are an extremely social species. We have been Homo sapiens sapiens for 350,000 years. For almost the entirety of that time, we are an incredibly social species. We have become the dominant species on the planet because of things like we have a larger brain, but also we learned to cooperate. We learned about the group. We learned about taking care of each other because if we took care of each other, others took care of us and we had a better chance of survival. Deep, deep, deep in our evolutionary biology, our evolutionary psychology is the group, is belonging, is connection, is relationship. So can you see the juxtaposition here between the truth of our nature and the imposition of our culture, our current culture? I've been teaching world history to my kids, and you see the pre-modern times, you come into the modernity, and it really isn't until about, you know, I would say the late medieval era, middle medieval era, that we really began to congregate in larger cities. Definitely early mid-medieval, mid-middle ages was the time that we began to congregate in larger cities. We had lived in bigger groups before, but not like we did from late medieval through the Renaissance, right? So for most of that time, we tended to live in small groups of belonging where we knew everybody knew us. And there was a strong imperative to contribute to the group. There was a strong imperative to either be part of defending the group from invaders, from growing food and crops and looking after animals so that everybody, you know, didn't die of starvation. Then there was like, you know, taking care of each other when injured or sick. All of this is my way of saying that I wonder how much of our modern mental illness, states of anxiety, depression, are rooted in a breaking of that basic human reality, that often our connections, our relationships, our sense of contribution and belonging have been deeply fractured by modernity and post-modernity. So what this message is about today is if you want to be happy, if you want to move out of negative states as quickly as possible, I have learned this. I've trained myself in this. I've practiced it. I have suffered for a very long time to learn this principle that one of the fastest ways to get happy is to serve other people. One of the fastest ways to get happy is to move our focus from our own internal states and begin to focus on other people. I am not talking about denial. I'm not talking about ignoring what we feel. I'm talking about there seems to be a law written on the cosmos itself that if we slowly move our energy from a negative self-absorption to the needs of others, we tend to find more happiness. We tend to grow. I'm not talking about that there's definitely times when we want to be introspective. We want to, be present to our own deep, rich interior life. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the rumination that comes from depressive states when we get locked in our own negative energy and we get fixated on where we are and we lose track of the needs that are all around us. So I want to say to you in this very short message, where are you serving? Where are you contributing? Can you do more? I'm getting out of the studio in a sec. I got to take my little daughter to netball. It's -5 right now. I woke up this morning pretty tired. It's been a huge week, and I'm like, and I'm feeling flat. Had a coffee, and then I got into the studio, and I'm like, my energy started to come up, and I started to create this content, and I'm started to want to contribute to you, and then I'm going to get out of here and go and have a laugh with her and watch her play and encourage her, and my energy begins to move from this internal fixation to this external focus, and I feel better. I just feel more energized, happier, better about life. That the energy as it moves out of you energizes you. Isn't that strange? That as energy leaves us, it actually energizes us. That's deep. Hadn't thought of that before. That's good. I'm going to trademark that. I'll give it a name. You were here. You witnessed it right in real time. You just saw this happen. That as we give energy out in a positive pro-social way, it blesses us, other people, and it blesses us. All right, I'm going to finish up because I've got to get out of the studio and I've got to get her to netball. Hope she goes well. She's got a dad's energy. So God bless you. Go serve, go serve, go serve. If you're feeling depressed and miserable, force yourself today. You will not feel like it. You will not want to do it. You will not have a strong cognitive desire. Force yourself to do it. Take someone for a walk. Take one of your kids for a walk with your dog. Ring up an old friend and say, hey, let's go for a walk together. Let's have lunch. Do something. Serve, contribute, bless other people. Bless me by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. You can bless me by checking out these description notes. Get a free copy of my book. Book me to speak. Find the podcast version and so much more in the description notes. But God bless you. I hope I've served you today. Now you go and serve others. My name's Jonathan Doyle. This has been The Daily Message, and you and I are going to talk again tomorrow.